if I have it set up or not.
My thing says it's live streaming. At the top.
Looks like it's coming up. Okay.
Now, if we just have some participants, that would be great.
Okay.
It's nobody's only ever. This is
Meeting.
That's muted.
So,
Okay. All right, I'm muting now. We'll just wait for the people to come on in.
okay.
Can everybody hear me?
Yes.
Okay. We'll just give it another minute. See if we get it.
Nice goat
Okay.
hat.
Ah, thanks. Yeah, George show. And I was actually playing golf a little while ago, so then my hair is a little messy. Okay.
Well, at least you got hair.
I am lucky there. I am very lucky. All right, well, let's go ahead and get started. It's called to order the Transportation Penny Advisory Committee for November 23rd, Thanksgiving week. And with that, do we have any public comments? Anyone signed up?
I didn't receive any.
All right, well then we'll move on to the Office of Small Business Opportunities then.
Hi, good evening, everyone. I am Michelle Rosenthal, Business Development Coordinator for the OSBO office. And I'd just like to say hello to my director, Chris. And these are the following items that we have. Starting on page 4, I'd like to talk about the contract participation as of November 19th. The certified payments for certified SLBEs was $41,792,337. And for the payments of the uncertified firms, who are generally the primes, that was $177,842,668 in payments, for a total of $219,634,405. Going down to page 5 for our certifications. There's basically no change there. We still have 95 active certified SLBEs, and we have approximately 8 renewing certifications that's pending. On page 6, the goal participation update was for the Decker Woodfield Fairway Drive Sidewalk project that was resubmitted on September the 15th. It had a recommended goal of 25%. On page 7, let's talk a little bit about the workshops. The thing that has changed there is our last workshop. I'd actually like to make a correction. The actual date is November the 12th and not November the 13th, as you see on page 7. I have an idea what's next. So we had Lexington High School 1 and Richland 1 participated in the workshop. It was actually a chat. And the host, the speakers were Tom Ledbetter from Midlands Tech. He chimed in on his expertise on how, if you have an idea and you want to get your business started, he offered some very vital information to the SLBEs and our small businesses that participated, to include the startups. We had a good turnout of high rate, which was 57 participants. And also the success story was Rosalind Goodwin from Gabby Bowes. She is the co-owner for the company, and she gave information about her daughter had an idea and made a suggestion to her mom. So the mother helped her get the business started, and it was a huge success for them. And that concludes the Office of Small Business Opportunity portion. Are there any questions?
All right, thank you very much, Michelle. And with that, we will move on to the transportation program update.
Okay, thanks, everybody. I'm Michael Niermeyer, Director of Transportation. I've got a few things to talk about today. Again, I appreciate everyone's flexibility with embracing this Zoom format. I know the attendance isn't the greatest, but at least it gives us a way to communicate something to those that care to be involved, and that information can be taken back to your communities and input can be received. And I like when the questions are asked that we may not have thought about from the TPAC's perspective, and we can incorporate that, or at least look at it from a different way. Offside of the updates, two things I wanted to pass to everybody. First, the department plans on putting out a public format end of year 2020 booklet, deliverable some type, that's going to be a roll up similar to what was presented back in 2017. It'll include information from OSBO, Comet, as well as the Transportation Department. It'll look at the annual 2020, so January, December, but it'll also have some information in there about the transition and taking over the program and some of the things we've seen so far. Plan to get that wrapped up sometime in January once we close out all the different payments we make for December. And so plan on January 2020, and then probably published by February 2020. Additionally, council retreats the end of January. We'll be doing a presentation on a year in review for them. I imagine some of that would be more than releasable to this committee, and maybe we'll give the brief to TPAC. I've got to look at that still. That's still a ways away, but we're working on that and getting our financials together for presentation. And I think everybody in this group would definitely like to see those. But going back to the transportation update, we've been doing some great progress with getting service orders out and updated. As a matter of fact, it's one that's not on the it's under pre-construction, but we got the Gills Creek Greenway Section A new service order to Holt, was signed by the administrator today. So that's going over to Holt for execution, and they can start on the redesign of the Gills Creek Greenway. Spears Creek Church Road service order is approved on 10th of November by a county council. Takes us to the 100% design, as well as additional construction phase services. As you may recall, Spears Creek Church Road was one that was grossly over the referendum amount. With the rescoping, it's looking for safety improvements, primarily focusing on intersection improvements along the way, about 4 intersections, and looking at a 5th intersection. November 10th, we also council approved for 3rd reading the annexation of 2 parcels that are going to be turned over or annexed by the city of Columbia for the Three Rivers Greenway. Those were signed and sent over to the city the other day. Also recently approved as 2 mitigation bank sales for Easily Combined Utilities in Easily, South Carolina, and then Fielding Homes LLC up in York County, South Carolina. I already mentioned Gills Creek, but we're still working on the Crane Creek Greenway Section B. We've been in some discussions with the city on both the length and width of that particular greenway, but it'll still be a significant project, almost 5,000 linear feet, connecting to the Canal Front Park. As far as construction updates, we're still hanging with North Springs and Harrington, even though we've reached substantial completion. We're waiting for the contractor to come out and address a few remaining issues. They've been reminded every week. So we're just going ahead and continue to prompt them to get out there and finish this up so we can go to closeout. Polo SUP, no real change, definitely progressing well. Harrison Road sidewalk also progressing well, about 65% complete. no issues on that, knock on wood, on that project. Green 2 is moving along 19%. We've got another girder installed, some excavation. Last month, we've been working with the city on a couple, some utility issues that we've worked out. So we're real happy with that cooperation. Clemson Road widening is just moving along splendidly, 95%, still scheduled for an early 2020 completion or significant completion. I guess if you've been out there lately, you can see the fantastic progress. And I'll jump ahead on that one because we're actually getting advertised now as the Clemson 1 sidewalk. So that'll be a nice addition along the Clemson Road corridor once that's awarded and built out. North Main, 85%. We ran into a couple completions, or not a couple completions, but a couple issues with some I guess called sub-base asphalt or some concrete that was below the surface that was being milled up and resurfaced. There's some significant cracking. So engineers are working on getting a cost estimate to repair that in some way so we can finish up the paving of that project. Three Rivers Greenway is a frustration to the department and many other organizations. We're still hanging at near 99% completion. We're waiting for our subcontractor to finish its surveys and get those turned over to the city so the city can formally accept the completed portion of the Greenway. I don't have an update on the remaining portion for anybody this time. We've been kind of juggling fires with the completed portion and the as well as those as-built surveys. So hopefully by the next meeting we'll be turned over and we can have a better idea when the Boyd Allen connector will go to construction. Magnolia Schoolhouse package S6 is complete, and then closeout package dirt road package JAL paving is complete. Any drainage issues resolved, and final inspection is completed, and we're moving to close out on that. Just on that note, having this year, we've closed out dirt road G, H, I, and J, which is about 3.3 miles of dirt road, which doesn't necessarily sound like a lot, but for dirt roads, that's a lot. So we're real happy to get those packages completed and closed out. CERN is definitely moving along well. Completed the median and asphalt work going down towards Gardner's Ferry. There's more asphalt placement occurring up near Rabbit Run, and looking at an early winter 2021 completion for the CERN. Resurfacing P is completed. The deficiencies that were noted to the contractor did last month. We could fix all the asphalt issues. This month they're working on the concrete roads. And then finally, resurfacing Q is substantially complete. There was some remaining intersection work along Decker that was done. That was done a couple weeks ago, as well as some curb work that was damaged by some city utility work that was finally replaced. So we're moving into project closeout for resurfacing Q. Currently, we have a couple open solicitations. I mentioned earlier, a sidewalk package S10 to close the Clemson Road sidewalk. Also, we have resurfacing R that I've been briefing for the last couple of months with 52 roads. Resurfacing R closes on December 9th. We're hoping to get that evaluated and awarded at the final council meeting in December. Sidewalk 10 will wait until the first real council meeting, I guess that's going to be in 1st of February. Recently closed Decker Woodfield NIP Faraway Drive sidewalk, closed on November 2nd, and it's going to go awarded to AOS contractors. This will go to council on the 8th, but committee already approved it to go to council. Dirt Road K, 4 roads under evaluation, that closed on the 16th. Additionally, Bull Elm intersection, we're still looking at anticipated winter 2021. We're still finalizing or negotiating that remaining right of way. It's a negotiation, so it takes time, but it'll happen. And then finally, the Blythewood widening in winter 2021. We had a site meeting with the parcel owner last week to talk about different aspects of what the county is saying that it needs and the type of access that the parcel owner will have. So we feel fairly confident we can get to a settlement, but we'll know more in the next month. Definitely want to get that advertised by winter 2021 because we need to get that project complete. Finally, it came out late this morning. I updated the agenda. We have the financials for November. What you may see significantly different is we've gone back under the bike pedestrian greenways. We've closed out those segments of greenways that were realigned under the ordinance 056 13R or 19R, and realigned that money in the referendum amount to those projects that were approved to move forward. So, for example, Gills Creek B, Gills Creek C was realigned with Gills Creek A. So you'll see the combination of the referendum amounts under Gills Creek A. So what we're down to is 5 approved greenways, and there's other segments were again closed out by ordinance, and you'll see those updated as we move along. And that's all I have. I'll be glad to entertain any questions.
Thanks, Michael. Sorry to be joining you late. I had a connection problem, which I'm going to have to look into, but appreciate the update. Have you got any news at all on either McNulty or Creech, which is in the design stage, I know, but I was just curious if that's making any progress, if you have any information at all.
Last update, like you said, Parish of Partners has it. They're the designer, similar to the same designer we have for Blythewood widening. They've had the service order for, I guess, a month and a half now. So that OET is doing what it needs to do to get those plans moving along from where they are. So I don't have any specifics outside of the general comment. I will be speaking, I guess it's December 8th at the Blythewood Chamber that morning. I believe Mr. Jeff Rubel will be talking from Economic Development, and I'll be up there talking about the Blythewood improvement projects as well as the widening and giving that audience an update. So I'll make sure I have some more details for you at that, if that's okay.
Is that the breakfast meeting that the chamber organizes?
Yes, it is.
Then I'll make a point of trying to get there. It'd be
Okay.
good to see you.
I think it's in person actually too. So I
Right.
will see you there.
Yeah. Thank you very much.
Sure.
I did have a question regarding the Green Street Phase 2. Everything moving along smoothly on that so far? No big hiccups or holdups?
Yeah, since we last talked, construction's actually been progressing very well. I mentioned here they put a new girder on. We had issues. I think I mentioned this last time. I didn't include it, but with the railroad that we did resolve, came to a called an engineering agreement on the way ahead that we met the certain minimum standards, and we had to make adjustments on the drawings as necessary, which was a good. They're agreeable. It would have gotten ugly, I guess, if they weren't agreeable, and we might have come to an impasse. But we got that all worked out. A lot of good discussion between some real professionals on my staff and the railroad, and a lot of it's just talking to the right person on the railroad side. So that's all been resolved. I mentioned some of the utility matters. We're working with the city. Reality versus drawings, and making sure that we did the right thing for those that'll have to maintain, certain utilities moving forward, and for the future of the project. So not going to specifics, but yeah, those are some of the normal, I'll call them normal construction challenges that everybody faces, and that's why we have this job to work through those and come up with solutions. So, but it's going well. We're real happy with the progress. We're happy with the contractor, and then the cooperation we've been seeing.
Hey, Michael, this is Allison.
Hey.
Michael,
Yeah, go
can
ahead.
you hear me?
I can. Yes,
Yeah.
I can.
Okay, just to follow up on the railroad, they have sent in a request to us for extra fees. They've changed the company they use for flagging services from Arcadis to STV, and they have requested additional funding for that switch. And I don't know that we have settled that with them.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, I guess that the issue I was talking about was the height from those bents. But yeah, I saw that email this morning, and I thought we had put in some guidance out, but we'll make sure we get that tomorrow. Just for the thumbnail for everybody, the railroad's contract to call them subject matter experts, call them CETA contracting, if you will. And they switched from one to the other, but doesn't necessarily update their contract. And now they're coming back and requesting some more fees since they've switched. And some of the fees may be justified due to a time, a time change. But we took a really hard look and made the railroad come back and show us why they're requesting more money. You just can't send someone an invoice and say, pay us more money. We need to see the backup and the justification a little more clearly than what we've seen. So yeah, we're working through that right now. Thanks for catching that, Allison. Any other questions?
The Bull Elmwood, so you got negotiating right away coming up. Have some of those issues started to calm down a little bit, or kind of moving forward?
Yeah, we the county presented an offer. It was countered, but then they backpedaled a little bit. So I actually spoke to Mr. Lee Thomas, who's our right-of-way manager, and we discussed that today. So I guess apparently there's a board of elders that had changed hands. It wasn't the previous ones from last year. We got some new ones. So there was greater discussion, and I think they need to come get some better understanding. So after my discussion with Mr. Thomas today, I feel a lot better that we will come to a settlement. But if not, we're prepared to take further action.
Okay. Thank you. Any other questions? All right, thank you. And with that, we'll have a comment program update.
Yes, again, I'm Eric Harris. I'm the Planning and Development Specialist here with the comment. I just want to quickly go over the memo that was provided, just some of the planning activities that have taken place over the last couple of months. We continue to prioritize shelter and bench placements. We met with Proterra to discuss electric buses and the cost benefits of extending our fleet in that direction. We held Reimagine the Comment stakeholder workshop. We met with a number of different entities, and we were able to help design our transit service in a different way and help shape the way we think about that. And I can speak about that in a second. We completed initial submittal for NTD reports. We completed a Lucius and River traffic analysis as well for future improvements along that corridor. We continue our on and off surveys to collect passenger data as we start to redesign some of our routes. Also, we actually took a trip to Florida State University and also the University of Texas. As you know, we started our university service at the start of September, and we wanted to look at what other universities are doing and what we can do to make sure our service is a success. We also met with USC, their student body, to allow them to provide feedback on what we can do and things they have observed. We presented to City Council for Reimagine the Comment and to discuss the North Columbia Super Stop, which is in conjunction with the Lucius and River traffic analysis. But as far as Reimagine the Comment, again, we're in the public outreach phase and meeting with the stakeholders, which was meetings that was held on November 10th and also November 12th. As of right now, we're at full-blown public meetings. We've been outside of Comment Central in a number of different places as well, Walmart Station to be one of them. Those meetings started on Wednesday, November 18th, and it's going through Tuesday, November 24th. If you have any questions about that, please feel free to email me at nharris@thecommentsc.gov if you would like to provide feedback. But the stakeholder meeting was so important, just to give you guys some insight of what took place. The first night, we were all online and we were able to decide what was what was the higher prioritized thing with when it comes to transit. Do we want to prioritize ridership? Do we want to prioritize coverage? And obviously you choose one, you're giving up something. And we were trying to figure out that system that would work best for all interests. So through that process, we were able to exchange ideas and, and I guess be able to relate that information to our communities, where now, again, we're in the stakeholder, more in the public outreach part of that plan. And we're receiving good feedback. We're allowing everyone to fill out surveys, and we're going to collect that data and use that for when we make our final decision. Outside of that, we, of course, again, still working with bus stop improvements. There's a number of different stop locations. I know on the memo here, the second and third bullet point there, where it says SCDOT encroachment permit has been received for one site. As of right now, we have a total of 3 sites. So that one bullet point, the second one should be removed. And those sites are Boston campus westbound, and also Forest is stop 1514 Forest 4840 eastbound. And also we have Knox and 9th, which is in Lexington. That was the other stop there. All right. We have a number of work in progress, and I go over that really quickly for you. We have designed 15 shelter locations and also 4 bench locations. And currently we have a number of places, 18 places that are in construction. We have Hardin and Taylor southbound, Hardin and Taylor northbound, Divine and Queen eastbound. We have Shop 1047 eastbound, Gardners and Dorn westbound, Assembly and College northbound, Divine and Millwood eastbound, Divine and Height eastbound, Forest and 4840 eastbound, and Fashion and Forum westbound, Farrow and Gateway southbound, Buckner and Court westbound, Hayward and Cora southbound, Blossom and Gaston westbound, Assembly and Flora southbound, Hoolan and East Hospital, Frank and Foreman westbound, and Julius Felder and Frank as of right now. As far as in bench placement, we have 12th and Shoal northbound, West Hospital Drive, Lake Murray, Palmetto eastbound, and 2 Notch and Elmwood northbound. That was as of October, and the shelter and bench permitted status for November will be Patterson Road and Gardner's Ferry Road and Beltline and Bluff southbound. Now, any questions about the following report? Try to make it as concise as possible, but I'm happy to go into a greater length of detail if you have any questions about how we made some of these decisions and some of the steps we're taking here at the Common.
I do have a question about the Lucius and River traffic analysis. Are there any results from that y'all would like to share? I don't want to blow y'all up if you need to put a traffic light in there or anything like that, but I'm curious because I know making that left turn off of Lucius on the river can be pretty tough.
Yeah, no, absolutely. That's exactly why it was a traffic analysis. So we reached out to SCDOT in regards to that intersection, and because we're trying to design a new super stop right there at the corner, we understood there would be an increase in traffic. And so a part of that analysis was to try to justify that. As of right now, they're still reviewing our plans. We do expect for, I want to say it's probably double the amount of traffic that we have right now at the intersection. We expect for probably by the time, I guess, construction completes, which will be sometime next year, we expect for traffic to double in that area.
Okay. And also, this is maybe a little bit off topic, but I was wondering, is the Leadership Academy coming back up soon? I had some folks reach out to me and ask about it. I just wanted to see if I could check with y'all if y'all had a date when that was coming back up.
I could take that one. We're going to be doing one in the spring. We haven't set up a date yet, but okay, we can make sure at the future meetings we let the TPAC know.
Absolutely, and y'all have in the past, and I wouldn't expect otherwise, but that's great. Thank you.
No, it's definitely good news to know that people are asking about it. So it means that's good work. Yeah.
Absolutely.
All right. Here, no further questions with Eric's report. I'm going to just jump into the last part of the comment report. John Ando, Executive Director here. On page, I think it's 15 of your packet is the DB compliance report for July as relates to our new operations contractor. We don't have a percentage goal as of yet. Since we just started, we don't have enough information to calculate. I do want to mention that going forward, we're not going to just report on our prime contractor. We're going to be reporting on all of our contracts that we have at the Comet. So that includes our prime contractor plus any other contracts that we may enter into, since we have established DBE goals with each of those contracts. So you can get a perspective on how much business the Comet is giving to disadvantaged business enterprises or woman-owned businesses. On page 16 is our financial highlights ending September of 2020. It gives you basically a summary of our expenditures to date. We are 25% of the fiscal year has been completed. Cash on hand, $750 million at Wells Fargo, $6.43 million at Optus. Local government investment pool, $17.11 million. And total collections of the penny revenue, going back to 2013, is we spent $124 million, leaving a balance of $176 million. And page 17 goes into greater detail on each of the line items of our expenditures through September 30th, 2020. The last piece, not the last piece, almost to the last piece, pages 18 through 23 of your packet is a list of our service changes that we're going to be implementing in the wintertime. A lot of this just relates to formalizing our COVID-19 service changes that we implemented back in May, making them basically permanent. So for an example, several routes used to run a weekday level of service on weekdays, a Saturday level of service on Saturdays, and a Sunday level of service on Sunday. Generally, Saturday service is about 80% of weekday, and Sunday service is about 50% of Saturday. Oh, no, excuse me, 50% of weekday. And with COVID-19, our ridership did go down. It is rebuilding, but it's not where it should be, where it was pre-COVID. So to ensure that we're spending taxpayer dollars wisely, we're reducing service to a Saturday level of service, Monday through Saturday. And on several well-performing routes, they'll have an enhanced level of service to match the demand of what people are expecting. Should routes continue to increase in popularity, we will look at adding more trips. So mainly a lot of the evening services are going to be cut back to where buses are more likely going to end at 8 or 9 o'clock instead of 10 or 11 o'clock. To compensate for that, we are going to expand the Comet on the Go partnership with Lyft and Uber, where that program is now going to start at 8 p.m. instead of 9 p.m. And it's going to run until 6 a.m. the following morning instead of 3 a.m. This is just to ensure that people who are coming home from retail jobs still have an opportunity to get home at night, or people who may need to go to jobs at night have an opportunity to get at jobs. Now that, in essence, by expanding this partnership, there'll be transit in theory 24 hours a day in the Columbia urbanized area. Won't be Comet buses, but it will be through our partnerships with Lyft and Uber. Our board also did authorize us to expand the subsidy. So instead of us paying the first $5, we're now going to pay the first $8. And that's going to increase the budget from $150,000 to $350,000 to compensate for that increase in subsidy. Ultimately, paying for people to use transit at night via Lyft and Uber is fundamentally and significantly cheaper than if we ran regular bus service at $70, $80 per hour, carrying 1 or 2 passengers per hour, which is why we're able to afford the increase in subsidy and afford increasing the budget for the program. We are going to be consolidating 3 of our low-performing routes into what is called an on-demand service, where people can call for the bus 1 hour in advance. It will run Monday through Friday from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. and it's going to operate in the corridors formerly traveled by Route 74, which is downtown Columbia to Forest Acres, Route 46, which is the lower Richland Boulevard area to the Patterson and Gardner's Ferry Walmart, and Route 62, which is in Hopkins. We believe that this on-demand service will be a little more responsive to people's needs. It'll be door to door, so people don't have to walk to a bus stop anymore, and it'll be more flexible. We are still going to have some routes remain suspended until we see demand warrant their routes to return. That's Route 76 on Fort Jackson. That one, we just are waiting Fort Jackson's permission to bring the bus back on base. Route 93X to Chapin. Soda Cap Connector 2 from Main Street downtown to Five Points and the University of South Carolina. And Soda Cap Connector 3 to Segra Park. Assuming Segra Park reopens, we'll bring back Soda Cap Connector 3. We'll look at revisiting Soda Cap Connector 2 in 2021 if we see demand increase at 5 Points. And then another route that we'll look at bringing back is the 44X, which is the Lower Richland Express. It is a pilot route, and we're going to extend that pilot to June 30th, 2021. And then when we see more people going to jobs in downtown, we'll look at reinstituting 44X. Any questions on the proposed service changes or the DB or financial report?
John, I'm just curious about the effectiveness of Lyft and Uber. Obviously, it's hard to compare their passenger carrying rate with a normal bus, but how popular are those services, and how do you rate their effectiveness?
I'll say that the ridership has been, ever since we started it in December of 2018, it was increasing month after month, both the market program and the nighttime program. When COVID hit, it took a significant dive because people were afraid to travel in groups, and we had the stay at home or work order. Since that was released back in June, it's been slowly picking up again. So I anticipate with the increase in subsidy and the extension of the hours that we'll start to see another growth, more in the nighttime program than the market program. But I think with the increase in subsidy, more people will do the market program. We are going to be doing another push on the market program in zip codes 29203 and 29209, where there's areas where there's limited fresh groceries to ensure that those that are low income have transportation access to grocery stores.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
All right. The last piece of my report, you should have gotten a link from the county, but it's the final marketing report for fiscal year 2019-2020. It's a large file. If you don't have that report, if you go to that email and click on the county's agenda, you'll see a link to that report called the Comets Marketing Report. And basically this report basically gives you a summary of all of our marketing activities that occurred in 2019. I know in the past, this committee has asked me the question, what are we doing to increase marketing and awareness of the Comet system? Last year, we did engage in a marketing consultant. We haven't had a marketing contract since 2005, and that's with Flock and Rally. And Flock and Rally has done a lot of campaigns to increase awareness on the Comet buses. Social media campaigns, billboards, newspapers, radio, and general advertisements. So, and making new brochures and flyers. So I'll encourage you to read this at your leisure. We have kind of taken a little pause on aggressive marketing right now. And the reason why we've done that is because just with COVID-19, we're only promoting the use of transit for essential use only, meaning to get to jobs or to get to social services, and not just to ride transit, until we can figure out a good way of operating public transit in a post-pandemic world. So while we're still doing marketing, most of our marketing is to let the community know why we're here, why it's important to have these services for those that need us, and to also promote the efforts of our staff, our frontline staff that is driving these people day in and day out to get to where they need to go. And what you see on the screen is a perfect example of some of those COVID-19 marketing that we've been doing.
John,
and that's also going to be our strategy going forward into 2021 fiscal year until, as I mentioned, we can get out of this pandemic.
John, looking through that slide deck, I noticed one of the last ones there is the U of SC Transit, and that just prompted me to remember, how has that relationship been going since y'all have just wrapped up your first semester with that service?
You know, the service has been doing good. I'm not going to lie, we had some operational challenges, and we've been working with the university to address those operational challenges. But all in all, I think the service did fairly well. And I'm looking forward to going into the spring semester with the service, and hopefully it'll be a much better light, especially with us learning their system, learning how the students, faculty, and employees want to be transported. And hopefully we can do better integration with the COMET system so that we have COMET riders also utilizing these services to get around the U of SC campus.
Can you expand a little bit on those operational issues?
It's mainly just as it relates to, as you know, we contract out the transit operations to a third-party provider. So it's really more day-to-day operational things like bypassing people at bus stops, or not doing a service alert timely so people know that the bus isn't coming or it's running late. More like day-to-day operational stuff than something of significant magnitude. But it's little stuff that can make a difference in somebody getting to or from class on time. And I don't want to discount those operational errors, but challenges. So we've been working with our contractor to improve that oversight of the operation. That also includes hiring a dedicated U of SC operations supervisor that will be on the ground in the field, monitoring those 12 routes and just facilitating and ensuring that we don't have these issues going on into the future.
Great. And do y'all run reduced service from now until, I guess, January when students come back to campus, or is it full board through then?
So right now we are full service today and tomorrow and Wednesday.
Okay.
No, I'm sorry, scratch that. Today and tomorrow. We go to a reduced service starting on Wednesday, and that's running only routes 13, 14, and 20. 13 is North Loop. 14 is the express route from the Divine Gadsden parking lot to the Horseshoe. And Route 20 is the West Campus from Park Place to the Horseshoe. The 26th through the 29th, there's no service. The 30th until December 23rd will remain reduced service. And then no service from the 24th to January 3rd. Then it's reduced service from January 4 to January 8th. And then regular service starting on January 11th.
Very good. Sounds well thought out. Thank you.
John actually asked my question there too, but the kind of final question about it, you might not have exact numbers, but I just want to check and make sure that we're still going through growing pains with U of SC, but are we still seeing that that's going to be a financially beneficial relationship for the COMET?
Yes, I still think it will. And I also think by adding their passenger counts to our national transit database reporting will help us in bolstering our ridership numbers so that we can get more federal funds to the urbanized area. So yeah, I do see it as value. And we've been mindful of watching every penny that's spent to ensure that we're operating within the 1.5 million that the university is giving us this fiscal year. And if we get close to reaching that number, we definitely will have a conversation. But so far, we're not close. We're on budget with all of our expenses with them. We are going to be engaging in a consultant to review their system They have the draft scope of work right now, which we're waiting a response from. And once we get that, we'll then engage a consultant to study, and hopefully we'll have a revised transit system to take opportunity for their land use patterns and their future growth effective next school year, so that we can start being able to effectively move people throughout campus.
Okay. And I will say that I have seen some of the new benches installed and the pads and everything, and they look really good. So yeah, kudos to that.
Thank you.
Just one note, if I may, I did hang the presentation underneath the agenda on the TPAC page on the county's website. So if you don't have the other link, you can download it from there. It's a big one.
Great.
Any other questions? Okay, thank you very much. With that, does anyone have any other business that they want to discuss tonight? Okay. Well, our next meeting, it looks like it's scheduled for January 24th. We got a little pending there, just spinning our. Is there a reason for that?
Yeah, obviously December, we're not going to have one due to the holidays, and council doesn't meet. Council doesn't meet in January either. We have the the offsite workshops or work session at the end of the month, but I guess I don't know. I don't remember traditionally last year if we had a January meeting or not, or we just did it in February.
I can't remember that far back, unfortunately.
I have a January meeting on my calendar from last year for what it's worth, but nothing from December.
And I think that's actually the January 25th would be the date, because the 24th is a Sunday.
Okay.
January
We'll change it to the 25th, and we'll send a save the date out.
Yeah. Yeah, we probably should. We won't be having a December meeting. It's probably best to not have 2 straight months new meetings. So let's plan on doing one in January.
Sounds good.
All right. Well, anything else? All right. Well, I hope everyone has a happy Thanksgiving and stay safe.
Same to you,
Take
Phil.
care.
Good evening, everybody.
Thanksgiving. Yep.
Thanks for your leadership.